Good evening, YouTube. So I posted a video earlier about why it's so important to protect your energy and wait to be intimate with a lover. I felt like this topic deserved a part 2 because I didn't really touch on everything that I wanted to touch on and some important factors for consideration. Basically, the type of people you need to be extra careful about being intimate with and waiting, why it's so important to wait to be intimate with people or your lover or crush is because there are a lot of predators out here this day and age. And it seems like the dating game is just getting worse and worse and more toxic. I think this is because the times that we're living in are becoming so trying and difficult that people, some predators especially, are willing to go to extreme lengths to get what they want. Types of men to watch out for include men who have studied you for a long time, and when they're talking to you, you feel like they're coming at you with an energy that is more mirroring your energy than it is authentic. And what I mean by that is you really just feel like they're not being real with you. You feel like they're copying you in a weird way. You feel like they're just being bubbly or extra sweet to the point where it does feel very flattering and nice, but there's also something off about it. Like, you can't always put your finger on it, especially when you're just getting to know this person by meeting them online. Like, you don't really know this person's energy, like, in the real world, like IRL. Like, you only know this person because you matched online on a dating app or something. And so it might not be really clear to you what their personality or vibe is like in real life because obviously you're meeting for the first time online. And I think it's important to mention you have to be extra careful with dating men online because they can hide their motives and intentions a lot easier over a screen than they can in person. That's why I think it's so important to not send pictures to men or not get too overly excited by their attention because they might genuinely not be that serious about you, but like just kind of playing around and having fun on the phone for a night. And you might take it like they're really in love with you or serious about you when they're not. And so you might try to impress them or send like a sexy, pretty photo of yourself. They might ask you for pictures. They will be very attentive and text you back quickly, and you might confuse this as them being genuinely interested, but the reality is if someone that is serious about you is not going to pressure you to send pictures, and they're probably not going to be too overly attentive because someone that has too much time on their hands can be a bit of a red flag because this person should have goals. They should have a work schedule, even like a routine with going to the gym or going outside for walks, some type of routine and schedule. So they should not be too overly available. And if they seem a little too overly nice and overly available, that can be a red flag. They may come off as very charming and sweet and seductive, and they could be, the cutest guy in your head. But the reality is they're probably just very driven to get what they want and desire out of you, which is intimacy. And so they're trying to speed up the process a bit. And nice girls may be more susceptible to this because they will misinterpret this speed and ulterior motives and desires as genuine interest, when really it's just them trying to like get what they want out of you and move on to the next victim. Another topic that I feel is important to mention is it's coming to light these days on how many down low in the closet men there really are in this world. And it's actually very scary. These men are so influenced by the patriarchy, and they genuinely hate women so much, yet they are willing to use women as a status symbol, or basically see women as an accessory. So a lot of down low men actually have a whole family. They have a wife, they have children, and they do this to hide the fact that they're secretly in the closet and have gay tendencies or bisexual fantasies, etc. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being homosexual, but I want to make it very clear that I'm not here to rag on people that are homosexual. What needs to be ragged on, though, is the fact that they're willing to use someone and basically just be fake to get what they want. And it's just crazy because they are willing to live a very fake life or double life. And they are willing to bring women into this life of theirs. And they will literally go to the grave holding the secret that they desire men or are secretly gay. And a lot of women don't always catch on to it because we can be a bit naive. We have been raised to be a caring, loving wife or daughter or a woman in general, that we kind of overlook the fact when someone is playing in our face or playing us for a fool. This is because we tend to give people the benefit of the doubt a lot. And it can also be our own delusions and our own mind blocking itself from seeing the truth, because some of us may have been raised with breadcrumbs of love and have felt so lonely in the world that we can become delusional to the fact that a man is not being real with us, even though the signs and subtle symptoms or clues are there. We will overlook it because we're just so happy that someone is giving us attention and love and, taking us out to dinners and buying us nice things that we kind of play into the fantasy, and we don't want to believe that this person doesn't feel the same way about us that we feel about them. But you have to think about it. If a man is overindulging you with gifts, it may be because he genuinely loves you and wants to spoil you, but it may also be because he has a guilty conscience and he feels like he owes you for playing you, for having this double lifestyle that you know nothing about. And because he is not paying you like he would with a woman who's a trick, he still feels like he needs to pay you somehow, so he'll buy you nice gifts, nice dinners, whatever makes you happy, just to keep you in line, basically. And I felt it was important to bring some of this information into a part 2 video, because a lot of us women don't even notice what we're dealing with. And I think some men have become so sneaky and sly with the way they obtain a woman. It's like almost a game to them, and it's like a sense of pride to them. They really think it's a game, and they think it's funny, or they think they're clever for getting one over on women, especially when we can be so emotionally intelligent and they get one over on us emotionally. That can, unfortunately, if they are a pathological man, this can actually give them like a type of high in their brain, because they got away with a lie and they didn't have to face consequences for it, but instead got rewarded with the love that you're giving them. And I wanted to touch on this because this is another reason why we need to be so careful and so discerning on who we're giving our love and energy to, because you could be getting played and your brain doesn't recognize it yet. And it's really important to not beat yourself up over this, because the reason why your brain doesn't pick up on it is because you wouldn't do that to someone. You wouldn't do that to someone, so you can't even comprehend treating someone as less than human, or treating a human as an accessory instead of a human being with a complicated life and emotions and a history. You don't even comprehend treating someone like that. But this is the type of sneaky, sly games that men are on these days, and a lot of women are waking up to this fact. So don't feel bad if you're still single. Don't feel bad if you have, no friends, and like you're just feeling really lonely because you're not willing to tolerate a low value relationship. Because being alone is much better than being in the wrong relationship, or being tied up with someone, or worse, soul tied up with someone that really doesn't give a rat's behind about you. And my heart goes out to women these days, because a lot of us just want a family. A lot of us just want genuine love, and we're willing to show a lot of men, the man that we're interested in, we're willing to show him and give this genuine love, but he's not always willing to give it back. And it's important to not be evil in return to him, even when he's being evil with you. And I know that sounds kind of controversial, because obviously when someone is being abusive to you, you want to stand up for yourself. And obviously, yes, you should stand up for yourself, but within reason. You don't want to keep a vicious cycle going and be ultra nasty to them, because then that just gives them more validation on why they should hate women and why they should treat us poorly. And I'm not saying you're going to change his mindset. Obviously, there's only so much you can do, but I truly am a firm believer in killing people with kindness and loving your enemies. And you have to realize you're battling the spirit of deception in them. You're not battling the purity of their soul. You're battling darkness. And the only thing that can overcome darkness is light and love. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. And I know it's really hard. And I myself, I've been hurt by men, and I've gotten really nasty with them. And in the moment, it felt really good, and I felt powerful in the moment, like, ha, I got you back, like, screw you, like, you're a loser, I don't like you that much anyways, or, good riddance. But in the moment, that feels good, right? But then after, I felt, like, crappy about it, because I was like, okay, I could have handled that better. And, women, our power is emotional intelligence, so it is really hard, but if you can treat someone who is being mean to you with kindness and respect, that might really make them reflect on their behaviors and change, because they're going to have to sit with the ugliness and void, the emptiness, the rottenness of their soul. And this is why being kind is effective, because they will have to sit with the ugliness and rottenness of their soul and treating a kind person badly. Whereas if you lash out back at them, it kind of justifies them being mean to you in a way, even though it's not justified, obviously. But I did want to kind of explain that a little. And just because someone is being ugly with you does not mean you need to come out of character and be ugly in return to them. Of course, this is really hard when you are overcome by anger and going through betrayal and the emotions of betrayal and just feeling like, they were playing in your face and you're extremely hurt and upset about it. And you have every right to feel that way, because no one should have to go through being betrayed, being played, or dealing with a lover that is living two lives. But this, unfortunately, is the reality of the world we're living in. We are dealing with some people who are God's children, and we are dealing with some people who are Satan's children. So just do the best you can to not come out of character, and set firm boundaries with someone who is being evil and wicked towards you, especially when it comes to matters of the heart.